Lawyer. Yeah, na mpacho bibi aboko there.
Oh, nyame adum bibi aboko. Nyame adum bibi aboko. You see, I know your legal vacation. There's a little more time to.
Pacho na ya yenko school da ya yenko school ya legal vacation as say.
Oh, the superior courts, high courts, the court of appeal, supreme courts will not be sitting.
They say minya sem se say na mbese mbe ha wonam di ko supreme court vacation ti e ma so.
See, I am unavailable.
Oh,
vacation.
Oh, my contract bi aka mbese me no ko na ukwohwe mame.
Would they ending come after the show?
All right, Gobi. Bacho, we called you today to seek your opinion on the proposal to extend the mandate of a president of Ghana's FA to 3 terms instead of the existing 2. And also, say Yebenya 2 vice president with an automatic slot for a female vice. Then that proposal, like Omami Atia says, temporarily FIFA has held on it. The extension of membership of the ESCO from 12 to 22. If it's a semi-buy, it has received mixed reactions, divided opinions.
Okay, so I'll try as much as possible to stay on the legal side so that other or moral or political opinions on it will not come into, even though it may be same, but I'll try and stay more on the legal side. So first of all, the proposal to extend the term limit of a president. You ask yourself, say, what usually is a term limit, and why is it important in a democracy? Term limit. Usually, the philosophical underpinning is to ensure that one person or one set of people do not concentrate power and to, circulate the ideas of other people who are being run in the organization or the polity or the nation. That's what I said. Good. Mm-hmm. Now, there's also, people forget that there's also a counter argument, which is not so popular, but there's also a counter argument to term limit, the whole concept of term limit. People have counter arguments, academic arguments that, okay, well, if a group of people, Max TV, election, the people there who are supposed to vote, say almost democracy is the will of the people.
Yeah.
If the people are willing to have a particular leader for an unlimited period or for a period more than what people consider democratic, people's will should be done. That's the counter argument of that side. That's what I said. So
sure.
Those are the philosophical arguments in terms of term limits or not. Now let's come to the GFE president. The GFE president, unlike, I've heard people compare him to the president of Ghana to make, a convenient argument. The president of Ghana, 2 terms. In Ghana, GFE, person will 3, and 4, and 5 or 6. But one fundamental flaw, aside the fact that, GFE, the Ghanaian president and the constitution is very, very different from what private people do. Apart from that, the GFE president is not an executive president like the president of Ghana. If you check the statutes of the GFE, the president has no powers. The president, Okraku, he has no powers. The powers of the GFE is exercised by the executive council. I think that a lot of people miss out on this education. So when people say that, okay, a GFA president staying for long smacks of dictatorship, it's not correct, because the GFA president has no power under the GFA rules or the GFA statutes. The body that is required to exercise power on behalf of the GFA is the executive council. Now, you know what's more interesting about this thing? The president now, even the GFA president, he has one vote. Simply meaning, say, executive council this year. Now they are taking a decision. President they will be one, just like the other executive council members. The only advantage of the president is that say executive council, they are 12 members.
12.
Yes. So if there's a decision and a split 6-6, then the president can veto on one way or the other. That's the only advantage that the president has. Now, when the decision is taken, then the statutes of the GFA, if you go to Article 37, 38, 9, 40 of the GFA statutes, then you see that the president is then mandated to implement those decisions. So the president of the GFA has no power. The power that he exercises together with the Executive Council, and he has the same power in terms of vote, unlike other board chairmen or presidents. The president of Ghana asks people conveniently, which I think is wrong compared to the GFA president. Now, the GFA presidents, the term is 2. The Executive Council members are 3. Now the legal question is that within the GFA statutes or within private companies in Ghana, is there a term limit, or is there a limit as to how many times somebody can be a director of a company? The answer is no. There's no law, both in theory and in practice, that prevents a director. Remember that Executive Council members in here are directors of the company. Everybody has to remember that. Just like I'm sure Max TV has directors of my company, which I'm sure the public don't know, but they are directors of your company, and some of them can be there as long as they want. So it is the prerogative of members of the company, which is because GFA is not by shares, we usually refer to the clubs as members. But if we were a company owned by shares or set up by shares, you can refer to them as shareholders. So they determine how many times they want somebody to be their director. The same people have the power to sack the director at any point in time. If you go to the GFA statutes, the clubs can stand up today, set up a meeting, get a certain number of votes, and sack the GFA president or all of the Executive Council members. All those powers are related to the clubs. So legally, there cannot be any argument against an extension of term limits. Meaning, I've explained it.
Yes.
Nothing
can stop them.
Yes, nothing can stop them to do that. And that decision, fortunately or unfortunately for us, resides within the members of, and who are the members? The clubs. So they will decide whether they want 3, 4, or 5. Now, there's a certain limitation. FIFA can limit some certain things that the GFA can do. But in this case, with the term limit, there is no limitation in the FIFA statutes upon its members. There are some things that FIFA put there, and then you are required to do it as a member association. Fortunately or unfortunately, I keep on using fortunately or unfortunately because I know some people support the idea, some people don't. Fortunately or unfortunately, there is no limit on the term that a president can go. So legally, I don't think there's any argument. I've heard another school of thought say that laws are not to be applied retrospectively. That is legally incorrect. The laws on retrospective legislation has nothing at all to do with what is going to happen. If you go to the retroactive legislation in the Constitution and what it talks about, it has nothing, no bearing whatsoever on what's going to happen next week if they manage to extend the limit. So that argument also brushes aside, no substance in law. So what it means is that it becomes a prerogative of the clubs to decide who continues or who does not. Now, I don't know where your next question will be, whether I should address the political.
Yes, let's deal with the political
side of it.
Yes, both. Yes. You can combine both so we wrap up. Because the clubs are sharply divided.
Yes. So good. Now, so politically, in football, the football circles, most of the time, I always tell people that when somebody becomes an FA president or a confederation president, or even FIFA president, they are usually ousted by scandals or they decide they don't want to go again. But when it is that they decide that they want to continue their term, it's very easy for them, simply because the delegate system is very small. Football thrives on continuity a lot, and it's not only in Ghana. People think Ghana, all over the world, That's all. People forget that Infantino, the first term has been cancelled. I don't know if your listeners are aware of that, but Infantino, the first term not quite, the FIFA Congress voted that first term is cancelled. Infantino is eligible to go again, which will be his fourth term as a president. Seferin in Europe also got the same vote to cancel his first term. Unfortunately, he says that he will not go again. He's resigning. UEFA has a three-term limit. FIFA also has a three-term limit. So if you ask me, I don't think this is a proposal that's out of place for them to go for a third term. What also must be noted is that anybody can contest in 2027, including the current sitting president. Anybody can contest. And you know how voting works, Nana. Voting involves campaigns, convincing people, lobbying people. People don't vote for you because somebody is going for a third term or fourth term. No, you need to convince people to vote. Last year, we held national elections, and a certain group of people were ousted based on ABCD reasons and the campaign of the current government. So if you want to oust Skett or his government, you know what to do. I'm not a political advisor, but now you and I know that if you want to oust somebody in an elective position, we will know what to do. So for me, I don't see any problem with the proposal. I don't think it will be rejected politically. It also fits into the political system in football. It also fits there. There's not too much that you can talk about. On the moral side, you would want to see, okay, well, what has Skett done? You want to evaluate his work. That's I'll leave it to your panelists to do, and then say that, okay, I don't want Skett to continue, or I want Skett to stop. That I can leave to your panelists to do. But for the football people, the decision resides in them, and they will decide whether or not they will have to do that. But let me touch on the women's before you can let
exactly. Must we have a woman? Must we have a woman a woman vice president to elevate women's football?
It's a master stroke from whoever brought that proposal. Who himself, in terms of political movement for women, it's grown very strong across the world. For international organizations, even in Ghana, we have the affirmative bill, affirmative action bill. That is to promote women, to break the ceiling and all that. And I'm not surprised that FIFA accepted it. So once you try to push women, to push them beyond the ceiling, international organization, it sounds politically right in your face in terms of your brand, because women affirmative action is on the rise in the whole world. It's a political movement. You may call it equality movement and all of that. It is on the rise in the world. And so for you to join that, it's good PR for your team. It's good PR for government. It's good PR for international body, even the corporate world. It is very good PR for them. Coupled with the massive improvement with women's football and the interest, and then the money that is being pumped in. I think that's an automatic representation for a woman as a second vice president is not out of place. There's a reason I started with explaining the role of the executive council and the president. Nana, as a second vice president, only power be out. The president himself does not have executive power. So how much more a vice or a second president? But for PR reasons, I think that it looks very good on the eye of the FA in light of what is happening with women politically in football and other spheres of life.
Kofi, Nyamisha said Oni Akasa Ewo Max TV. With this legal vacation, then we've got a lot to do. We'll get back to you, Kofi. Thank you.
I'll be always available to discuss legal issues as and when they pop up.
Nyamisha said Oni Akasa.
But only I am a strong sporting opinions, but I know now.
Once 16 years be already your friend Suraj make out team house of folk.
This season, me sure say unya draw ka na why there. This season I ever no.
Why unya draw?
Any Premier League team unya draw against house of folk na why there.
Hey Kofi, players are more saying any momo.
It's not really about players. No say no. It's not about the quality of the individual. No. It's about the system. And if you want a system, you cannot talk about anybody other than Didi Dramani. And you watch the top 4. It will give you an idea of what's going to happen in the season. You'll be surprised. We'll not draw against us folk around my idea.
All right, Kofi. Thank you so much for your time.
Okay, let's make that say.
All right, that's Kofi Ampah Bolasie. He is a legal practitioner and he's got very strong opinion on football matters. And I want to see let's wrap up with Coach. Coach, I'm saying